Many people from all over the world come to shop for clothes in Florence. But how did it become this way? When did fashion truly start in Florence?
Italian fashion kind of got started actually here in Florence in 1951. There was a man named Giovanni Battista Giorgini who had the idea to kind of launch Italian fashion, sort of something between American mass production and French haute couture. So actually here in Florence he started showing Italian fashion, sort of boutique fashion. So they were fashion designers who were making kind of ready to wear on a smaller scale and much more kind of casual, called boutique fashion.
Giorgini was good friends with another designer at the time, Roberto Capucci. Capucci was the first designer to have a fashion show in Florence.
He actually no longer presents collections. He just makes one-of-a-kind pieces for exhibitions. He's just very much himself. He's not following the fashion. They're quite spectacular, the way he uses color. And he's sort of an iconoclast. And he was a student at the Art Academy in Rome. So he was a fine art student. He was not a fashion student. Although at that time there weren't really any fashion schools. The way that you learned fashion was to apprentice with someone. And he was an apprentice to a Italian fashion designer called Schubert, who was very well known for his evening gowns, and he actually in the 60s and late 50s he worked a lot with Italian television stars. So if you look on old Italian TV shows, you'll see Mina and all these stars, they're wearing these Schubert dresses. But they're not anything that you could actually think about wearing, unless you're planning on going to the Oscars and not sitting down.
Fashion wasn't always this way before Capucci.
It kind of got its start after the Second World War. Before that period, it was all Paris, all the time. And in Italy, they didn't really have a fashion industry. What they did have, however, was an important textile industry. So even the French haute couture used Italian fabric. Since then, of course, Italian fashion, that was a long time ago, it's sort of gone up and down. There was a big boom in the 80s. At a certain point, Italian fashion moved to Milan, which is still the capital now of fashion.
So is Gucci really considered high fashion?
Gucci is actually owned by a French company now. It's no longer even owned by Italians. It's a sort of a classic, particularly Florentine brand. It was actually founded here in Florence.
On September 27th, Gucci opened a museum in Florence honoring its 90 years of handbags. Many famous celebrities attended the opening.
It was bought by Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, which is a French conglomerate of luxury brands. So yes, it is high fashion, but it's questionable whether it's really Italian anymore.
I've decided to journey to Milan during Fashion Week to see what Italian fashion really is about. Milan had every fashion brand in Italy that you could think of. During Fashion Week in Milan, dozens of fashion shows go on.